hair health. We're taught about basically things to put on our hair, but I'm going to talk about the things that we need to put in our body to be able to support our hair health. Also, we're going to talk about the 10 ingredients to stay away from in regards to personal care, not just hair health, but also dental care, skin care, things like that. And we're going to give resources to learn more on your own. So not just what are you going to get here, but where can you reference what you leave here. All right, the hair care industry is actually a $4 billion industry. The ethnic hair care is the largest segment that's growing right now, and it grows over 200 million per year. We right now are between 1.5 and 2 billion of the 4 billion. So we're 40 to 50% essentially. This includes people of African descent, Asians, and Hispanics. Though on the opposite side, 85% of the hair care industry is controlled by Koreans and East Indians. So why should we care? Number one reason we should care is that ethnic personal care, including cosmetics, dental care, and hair care, contains more endocrine disruptors than any other group of products in the hair care and personal care industry. So you're asking me, what is a hormone disruptor or endocrine disruptor? You have receptor sites in your body. They're places where hormones go to be utilized, to be created, to combine with other hormones to be used in the body. What happens is when you put certain things on your hair and your body, they go into the bloodstream and go onto those disruptor sites and decide, we're here now. You can't get here. So while the estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and other hormones that are in your body are trying to find a receptor site, there are none, because all of the fake ones from your personal care are on those sites. So what are some of the things that we normally see that happen? Fibroids. What's the first thing they tell you when you have a fibroid? You have too much estrogen. Why? Because these estrogenic things have come in and disrupted the receptor sites. Uterine cancer, breast cancer, all of these things that we talk about have estrogenic effects. They're foods that we eat and they're things that we put on our body that create those effects so that it's disrupted and then none of the other hormones can actually go to that receptor site. Females are starting their periods earlier. We're seeing black females starting their period as young as 4 years old. There is a study that went on in Europe that went over a span of 20 years looking at women and saying, when did you start your period? It used to be in the 50s that you started your period around anywhere from 9 years old to 12 years old. And now we're talking about as young as possibly 4 years old, you're developing breasts and you're having your period. So we're talking about also the mental effects that go on with that, along with the physical. Black females have the highest rate of fibroids. We also have males that are growing breasts, so don't think that it's just a female issue. You also have men that start to develop adipose tissue or the fat in the belly much earlier due to these effects also. Men having lower sperm count, so you're having more instances of infertility. And you also have higher rates of, like I said, ovarian, prostate, and uterine cancers. So what should we do? First thing you need to do is feed your hair. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and see if you're feeding your hair. If everybody could raise their hands. Do you eat grains such as spelt, barley, wheat berries, rye, quinoa, or amaranth in their whole state? Not something made of whole wheat flour, but in their whole state. Okay. Do you eat fish 2 to 3 times a week, grilled or broiled? And fish fry on Friday does not count. Do you eat dark leafy greens at least once a day? Okay. And do you eat raw seeds or raw nuts daily? Okay. And are you eating beans 3 to 5 times a week? Each one of those food groups that we talked about in each question corresponds to one of the reasons why we have deficiencies or problems in hair health. Vitamin A is essential if you have dry hair. You're going to need at least 1,500 milligrams or 5,000 IUs. Just so you know, vitamins can be either by weight or by what they call IUs, or international units.
So is there like a food that's rich in vitamins?
That's where we're going to.
Oh, okay.
You can get that from fish
Sweet
oil
potatoes.
liver, mangoes, sweet potatoes, yellow squash, carrots, and pumpkin. The omega-3s are essential to dry hair and the scalp, because that's what actually one of the things that you use to make moisture. You need 3 things to make moisture in the hair: essential fatty acids such as omega-3, 6, and 9. You need proteins, and you need water. So that's why it's essential that you have that. You will need to get about 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams per day. So if you only take in 2 Nordic Naturals or Barleans, you're only getting 1,000 milligrams. You need to be taking 3 to 4 times that much. About 60% of what you should be getting is from fish, eating it 2-3 times a week. So that's why I asked that. A lot of people talk about fish is too expensive. A can of sardines will do it. A can of sardines actually has twice as much omega-3s as a serving of salmon. So you can buy 3 cans of sardines for that salmon fillet. Certain fish, especially your darker fish, are going to be higher. And also the smaller the fish, the higher in omega-3 content. Also, eating raw flax, pumpkin, sunflower, and chia seeds is a source of omega-3 and omega-6. And raw nuts, especially almonds, pecans, and walnuts. B vitamins are also essential for hair loss and thickness. So a lot of times we're always talking about, girl, my hair ain't thick enough, it's always thin, doesn't get enough volume. Reason being, you don't have enough B vitamins in your diet. B vitamins primarily come from legumes such as beans, dark green leafies, whole grains, the whole grain, not the flour, not the bread you eat, not the pasta, the whole grain, eggs, brewer's yeast, molasses, mushrooms, cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli and cauliflower. But if you're not eating these on a daily basis, or at least getting 100 milligrams of a general B complex, you're probably suffering some type of hair loss. So that's why when you go to the health food store and you buy a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, the biggest component of it is going to be B vitamins, starting with B2 and working your way down to folic acid. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. You need at least 2,000 IUs a day. For African Americans, we have to spend more time out in the sun to be able to get enough vitamin D. We actually have to spend 30 to 40 minutes out in the sun every day to get the adequate vitamin D that we need. For other ethnic groups that are actually lighter, they can spend 15 to 20 minutes. And you want to spend that primarily through the higher times of the day. That's why if you're going to put on sunscreen, wait to go outside first. You need to be primarily uncovered, and then after you've been outside 30 to 40 minutes, then go and put on your sunscreen. Copper is necessary for hair loss and scalp sores. Sometimes people just get sores and they're repeated over and over again and they can't understand why. There have actually been homeopathic physicians that have treated such with copper. You need 2 to 3 milligrams a day in your diet. You can get that from raisins, dried figs, legumes, seafood, whole grains, nuts, and eggs. So if you're starting to see a pattern, the same foods are starting to come up over and over.
Is it true that copper also stops gray hair?
Yes, it can, possibly.